The Irish Taoiseach, or sorry, Taoiseach, who's about to become Taoiseach again, is named, and with Taoiseach we mean Irish Prime Minister. His name is Leo Varadkar, and he's gay. The world and its mother knows he's gay because he made sure everybody knew about it. He's also in a long-term relationship with somebody, and he has used that relationship quite often in his image-making campaigns and in his political campaigning with images and videos and newspaper reports where he and his partner and their home have been featured in the past. Over the last week, a video has emerged from a nightclub scene in which Leo Varadkar, the future Taoiseach and the current Taoiseach, is seen kissing a young man in a snogging type of way, to be blunt about it, not a kiss in the cheek kind of a thing, in a nightclub. And the video has gone viral. Since then, the Irish media and the political establishment have gone insane on this issue, saying that his privacy was invaded and that nobody has a right to share this kind of a video, etc. And you might think there's a little bit of logic in some of that argument. But when you see the fact that he has actually used his relationship and tried to put himself over as a cleaner and squeaky clean person that's in a monogamous relationship, that's the image that I perceived and that other people perceived looking at this media campaign that he's had in the past using his relationship. Well, now the same story is being used to try to introduce further censorship and shutdown of the coverage of politicians outside of the political arena themselves and their behaviour outside of the political arena itself. Here's a headline from the current Irish Taoiseach. New era of strict social media rules is now imminent, says Micheál Martin in wake of Leo Varadkar video. So new strict social media rules. Isn't this manna from heaven for the politicians? I wonder if these social media rules were there when 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐇𝐃 was happening, which was when politicians were partying during the COVID lockdowns that they actually initiated in Ireland. I wonder if those videos or those photographs would have been caught in the net of this new era of strict social media. If the parties in number 10 during the COVID lockdown, would they have been restricted, those images, from being shared in this new era of social media? There is a Labour Party in Ireland. You wouldn't think there was a Labour Party in Ireland. It's minuscule because they've become so, to my mind, juxtaposed to the interests of the workers in this country. And there's an even less known person leading it, a woman called Ivana Bacek, who's from an academic background and I suspect hasn't really done a hard day's labour in her life. Here's what she wants to do and what she feels about this video circulating on the Taoiseach.
On a serious note, I was horrified at the leaking of the video about the Taoiseach. I think it was utterly unacceptable. It was a gross invasion of his private life, and it's something that shouldn't happen. And I think Ian's right about anonymity. And I think that actually is a crucial point, because you can't sue for libel or defamation if you don't know who you're suing. So people can hide behind anonymity on social media, and that's what has made it pernicious. Now, I'm somebody who uses Twitter. There can be a huge democracy to social media, and we've seen it used for very positive purposes as well. But undoubtedly, the lack of requirement for verification has been a problem in terms of regulation of social media and preventing harms. Brendan Howlin, my Labour colleague, actually brought forward 𝐒𝐄𝐍𝐆 law, one of the reforms we've seen. And we do need law. Here I disagree with Ian. We do need laws to regulate social media. The 𝐒𝐄𝐍𝐆 law initiative was important because it has created new criminal offences around sharing of images online and so on.
It's quite specific, though. It's quite narrow, isn't it?
And that's why we also need the Online Safety Act that Alex is talking about, that the President just signed into law recently, because that brings us the civil side, the new Online Safety Commissioner, the power to bring in.
Okay, so that's Ivana Bacek, the Labour leader. Just on a few things that she said there. First of all, she was horrified. How horrified was she really? Picture of somebody kissing somebody in a nightclub. Was it really that horrifying, Ivana? Number one. Number two, what are you talking about defamation laws? Nobody claimed that. Nobody said that Varadkar did something that he didn't do. So what has defamation laws got to do with anything here? So that's just her trying to fill in the air with sound, as far as I can make out. Finally, she starts talking about Twitter and the verification process in Twitter. I think she just read something over the last week that Elon Musk was introducing a verification process, and she just threw that into the mix to sound like she knows what she's talking about. But nothing that she has actually said really relates to the video that was shared by Varadkar. And the fact of the matter is, as far as I'm concerned, Varadkar has used images like these constantly in the media to promote the notion that he's in a lovely, loving, monogamous relationship. Everything's happy. But at the same time, if an image or a video emerges which counters this, then there's a problem. It should be taken down. Either politicians do have their personal lives out there for promotion or they don't. One or the other. But if you're in politics, you behave in a certain fashion. A nightclub is a public place. Are you saying that you can't take photographs in nightclubs now? One final point on this. I was involved in the campaign for Coco's Law, and I know Coco's mother very, very, very well. And the laws that her citation of Coco's Law is an insult to the people who are victims and who are driven to suicide, which is what Coco's Law is about. It's about stopping people being driven to suicide because their private images were shared online, as in actual sexual images, or on the other hand, that they were hounded online and threatened using the internet and bullied into killing themselves. That's what Coco's Law was about. It wasn't about protecting politicians who were caught kissing and snogging somebody who is not their full-time partner in a nightclub. That's not what Coco's Law was about. What's your take on this one, Porter?
I remember an image of Leo Varadkar at a music festival during level 5 lockdown in Ireland. So this was the most stringent lockdown that you could have. You're in 2 kilometers of your own home, right? So this is a time when people's movements were restricted, which is something that one time a few years back Micheál Martin described as fascism, restricting people's movements, right? So there's an image that I can remember of the very Leo Varadkar at a concert in England while we were all being locked down like that. I can remember another image of a social occasion that he was having, I think, next to in the, I'm not sure, was it the park, was it Phoenix Park, or was it near Irish Neutron, or
Yes.
somewhere that I'm not sure exactly where it was. But there's 2 images, right? And they compromised his integrity, right? Of being in it with us, we're all in this together, that type of thing. Never mind this one in the nightclub. Let's look at it on a broad basis, So does this now exonerate them from being in the public eye when they're supposed to be leading by example on issues where they're enforcing laws upon us, but they're not living by them themselves? So where does this lead you to? It's a total state censorship is what they want. They want it all their own way as such,
And that's what I'm really horrified about Ivana Bacek. I'm not horrified about the fact that he was caught out. Whether he's in an open relationship or not, I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I actually found the video itself, when I saw it, it kind of turned me a little bit. Not because I'm anti-gay. I'm not going to go around saying what I am or hadn't, or what my sexual orientation is. But I'm certainly not anti-gay. But I didn't particularly want to see that video myself. But it's just telling that they're using this now to try to push through laws to protect themselves, to ensure that if they're caught out in the public doing something that goes against their own what would you call it, espoused scruples, if you want to call it like that, that they can have those images taken down.
But there is something a bit unsafe, Finbar, about legislation possibly coming from the actions of a legislator, it's a bit of a dodgy ground, really.
It is.